behind the handsome face that always seemed to smile on the screen, behind the glare of dazzling stage lights, and behind the cheers of millions of soldiers from around the world, it was hidden a story that had never been told before. A stern, sharp, and even shocking statement finally came out of the mouth of BTS's golden mean Jeon Jungkook. "My home is my palace, not public consumption." The sentence is not just an impingement, nor is it preamble. This is a loud alarm. This is an inner voice that can no longer be silenced. Last week, in an interview that was originally planned to be a small talk about music and inspiration, Jungkook abruptly changed the direction of the conversation. With a piercing gaze and a different voice than usual, he revealed something that left the reporters in the room speechless. "I can't pretend anymore. My home is not a place to be consumed by the public. My home is a space of privacy, a space of healing. I don't want it to be made into a commodity," he said in a cold but emotional tone. Is this anger? Is this a form of frustration? Or is this just the beginning of something bigger? It didn't take long for those words to spread like flames doused with gasoline. The hashtag #JungkookRumakuAstanaku immediately dominated the global trending topic. The army was split in two. One side fully supported Jungkook's decision to keep his privacy, while the other side questioned, "Aren't celebrity homes always interesting to know? Don't fans have a right to know where their idols live?" But wait a minute. It's not just about the house. It's more than location, more than architecture, more than the price of hundreds of billions of won. This is the story of a person trying to build the last bastion of defense in the middle of a world that incessantly strips his life. This is the story of how one Jungkook, a global idol with all the glitz and entangling expectations, chose to draw a clear boundary line. Enough. Up here. But the question is, why now? Why is Jungkook making such a statement now? What is really behind the walls of the mansion called Palace? Why do you call it a palace? Is it because of its luxury? Or is it because it serves as the only place where he can breathe? No one expected that Jungkook's house, which has been heralded as the most luxurious residence among BTS members, holds such a big secret. Some time ago, the public was surprised by a leak of the interior design of the house, an incredible luxury even for the standards of a world-class celebrity. From biometric security systems, private meditation rooms, anti-snooping recording studios, to never-before-mentioned underground rooms, it's all just the tip of the iceberg. Jungkook didn't just build a house, he built a fortress. He built a small world that only he could control, the only place where cameras, fans, even the manager could not enter without permission. But precisely because too many do not know, the greater the curiosity of the public. When the only picture of Jungkook's house leaked onto the internet, the entire fandom was in uproar. Some admire, some envy, and some begin to feel as if they deserve to know more. If you don't want to share it with the fans, why is the house so luxurious? So caustic comments that adorn the online forums. And this is where the controversy explodes. Jungkook wasn't just angry. He was disappointed. Disappointed that the only shelter that he built with great difficulty began to be perceived as a consumer product. His house is no longer a place of bed and rest, but turns into content material, a topic of discussion, even a subject of gossip. Even more painfully, some people from his inner circle began to divulge deeply personal details, the plan of the house, the location of the sleeping rooms, even the sequence of stairs leading to the upper floors. "I feel betrayed. And when your place starts to feel like a foreign place, it's no longer home," Jungkook said, his voice barely shaking. That word is the key to everything. That for Jungkook, home is not just a place to live. Home is a place to remember who he really was, long before all the glitz, all the concerts, all the spotlight came. He called his house a palace, not because of its luxury, but because it was the only room where he could be king over himself. Outside the home, Jungkook is a global icon. Inside the house, he is Jeon Jungkook, an ordinary boy from Busan who just wants to live quietly. But the pressure doesn't stop there. After his statement went viral, many Korean media began digging deeper into the matter of the house. Paparazzi lurking around his neighborhood. The drone flew over the roof without permission. Some fans even ordered food online to Jungkook's house just to see who opened the door. All of this makes Jungkook at his emotional peak. And when emotions could no longer be held back, Jungkook decided he would talk. Firmly. Out loud. With all the risks. In a live broadcast session conducted at midnight, Jungkook sat alone in his studio. No music, no filters, just the real voice of a man who has been silent for too long. "You can love me, support me, or even worship me. But don't take the only place where I can be myself. I don't belong to the public. My home is a sacred place. My home is my palace. The reaction of the public, as always, was sharply divided. Some cried as they watched Jungkook defend his pride amid the onslaught of unreasonable demands from the outside world. But there were also those who were cynical, as if what Jungkook said was just a farce. "She's a world artist. It's natural for her house to be talked about," wrote one anonymous account. But what they don't understand, or rather don't want to understand, is that Jungkook isn't talking about home. He's talking about personal space, about feelings, about boundaries that can't be crossed, even by the love of fans. The entertainment industry treats idols like products. They are printed, polished, sold, worshipped, then discarded when they do not sell. And their house? Just like their schedules, their meals, even their love lives, everything is considered worthy of being the subject of a spectacle. But not with Jungkook. He refused. He said no. He turned the tables, even at a time when his popularity was reaching the top of the world. And that's what makes the statement, "My house is my castle," so much more than just a word. It was resistance. It was a revolution. Shortly after its live broadcast, news began to appear. Jungkook restricts fans. Why did Jungkook suddenly shut himself up? Is Jungkook tired of being famous? And even cruel titles like "Jungkook forgot who raised him" adorns various gossip media portals that only care about clicks, not the truth. But this time, the real fans did not stand still. Armies from around the world rallied on social media, defending Jungkook. They began to viralize other hashtags. Hashtag respect Jungkook's home, hashtag not your property, hashtag John Jungkook privacy matters. Surprisingly, even some senior South Korean celebrities began to raise their voices. Senior actor Kim Namgil in a TV interview said, "I know how hard it is to maintain privacy in this industry. If Jungkook feels that his house is not for the public, then we should all respect him. No house deserves to be a mass spectacle." Actress Park Shin-hye also added, "Jungkook has already given away too much of his life. If he wants to keep just one thing for himself, why are we angry?" But not all industry partners agree. One of the former second-generation idols, who is now a social media celebrity, actually heated up the atmosphere by uploading a video of his reaction. "If you're not ready to lose your privacy, don't be an idol. Castle House? Please look. You are not a prince." The comments became a fire on gasoline. The army was furious. But more than that, it touched Jungkook personally. In a short broadcast session on Weverse, Jungkook responded to the satire with simple but sharp words. "I'm not a prince. I'm human." And that's where it all exploded. Because, more than anyone, Jungkook is aware that the idol label has stolen many things from his life, including his dream of a normal life. The house, yes, the house he called the palace, was the only thing that no one could buy, could not be recorded,